Hey, good morning. What's the matter with you? Welcome. Come on in. This is going to be a short one today. Although I do have 2 cups of coffee. How's your weekend been? Hola. Hola. Okie dokie. It's been a busy week here. Hectic. This stream is just kind of a test stream. I've got some really ancient devices that I'm working with. I'm streaming this on my webcam, as you can tell. Super duper quality from 2011 MacBook Air. I guess depending on where you are, it's the weekend, yeah. Where I am, it's Sunday, so I guess that's still the weekend. But yeah, I know what you mean. Days can run into each other. So I was trying to sync up iPhones to this laptop, this MacBook Air that's running a really dated operating system. I think I'm going to switch that over to Linux, because I did pick up a Windows 11 laptop, but I just haven't had time to play with that yet. I don't know, not in any rush. And yeah, it's been a hectic week. I've been making multiple trips into the big shitty. And I've got Sumerian tech. Okay, well, okay, you got me beat. You're streaming, you're watching me on an Abacus or something. Whatever works. You're all welcome. Come on in and your Commodore 64s and your Atari computers or whatever you have. It's all good to me. Let's see if other people trickle in. You're in the States, right? What's the matter? What's the matter? You? Actually, I'm going to be asking this question if more participants come in. Are you watching on a phone or a computer, desktop, laptop? Just out of curiosity, I want to see how audiences are finding this content and how they're using it. Yeah, I was frantically trying to get cameras hooked up. There's a 4K camera somewhere in this house, but I don't know where it is. I think I can sync my iPhones up to this is Earth. We are in the known universe. If you're receiving this broadcast from outside the known universe, by all means, leave a comment. Let me know your age and whether you're watching on an Android or iPhone. But what's the matter? Yeah, you're in the same neighborhood as me. Pacific Northwest. Okay, on the phone. Yeah, I'm still fiddling with the YouTube technology as a platform. If you've been watching videos, I'm a Gen Xer, and I was kind of a late adopter to some of this technology. We had computers growing up, but we were running BASIC and learning basic programming. And when I was in university, I was trying to learn Fortran for computer engineering and things like that. That was the programming language at the time, which got replaced with COBOL and Python and others. So I really lost interest in computers. It was just too much for my head to get around, and I was more interested in partying and to try to understand the technology that was arising. So I'm kind of a late adopter to this use of technology, but I think it's really cool what's happening. 48. Oh, okay. Fellow Gen Xers, rise up. I think this is our time. Like, I wasn't going to get into too much preaching and teaching today, but it's in the last year or so, I've found my computer or online engagement really changed in that I'm getting more involved through commenting and chat rooms. Like I was never part of the Reddit scene or 4chan. Like, I was busy doing other stuff. But now I'm kind of at a time in my life where I have time to look at what's out there and make my opinions known. And so it's kind of fun. And as I've said in some of the videos, this is somewhat therapeutic. That I could, release the pressure release valve on some of my thoughts and just let it seep out there into the known universe and beyond. And I see a real opportunity right now, especially with YouTube. They're encouraging weird channels like this. And, YouTube, it's all about going after your data. And a lot of the tools for content creators is to encourage, or there's a push and suggestion to use AI in helping create and I don't know, possibly curate some of your content, but definitely in the creation. And I think that's not the direction I want to go. I believe that there's a hunger for just people getting in front of the camera, being themselves, and being authentic, and without the computer-aided technology. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just not for me. I just kind of want it to be natural, organic, grassroots kind of content. I've said I'm not putting a lot of effort into editing or production. And I don't ever see that happening. Like, I've got some backup channels that maybe we can monetize and have a different type of quality of stuff. This channel here is kind of just my occasional vlogging, cultural criticism, opinionated ramblings of a guy who probably should be finding better stuff to do with his life, but this is what I'm doing. And my eyes are so bad, so if you see me squinting, I used an Apple II with the original printer the first 5 years or so of college before I finally got a Mac clone to finish the last 3 years with. Okay, what were you doing in college? This is the first laptop I purchased, and I've had it since 2012, I think, so it was a year or two old. Still works, but Safari doesn't run on this Mac anymore. I'm just using DuckDuckGo, and I think I got a buddy coming over this week. We're gonna do some stuff outside in the farm with some of the animals. Help them find their way into the freezer, and he knows stuff about computers. He's actually a programmer really bright guy. So we'll see what he thinks about installing Linux on this computer, and then I could fool around with that Windows computer for YouTube. I don't know much about Linux. I don't know if trying to put a patched version of Safari or Mac OS on here is worth it. I mean, it's still a decent little laptop. But, philosophy, primarily an education. All right, my brother has a master's degree in education here in the 51st state. Number of other subjects, so read teaching. My brother's an elementary school teacher currently. And he's been all over the place. He started teaching English in China, and then he was kind of all over Canada looking for a gig, but it's hard to get contracts for teachers here. So he's been kind of across several provinces. It's a weird profession up here. I don't know what it's like in the States. Again, too much government involvement. It's managed at the provincial level here, so I believe it's done at the state level where you are. And I really feel if people want that state provided education, they should be free to choose that. But for those that want options, it really should be a lot easier. And handing it to you guys in the States, I've listened to lots of American radio. We get actually stations that come up quite clearly where I am, from Bismarck, North Dakota. I can get AM radio from Chicago, all over the place. And from what I understand about kind of your voucher system, how you can spend money on private schooling or what have you, it's way superior. Like, to homeschool your kids or send your kids to private school, you need to be very well off, because you're basically paying taxes for your neighbor's kid to go to school, and then you got to pay for your own child's education and hope that there's some grants or subsidies or rebates that you can claim at the end of it. But, tuitions are what they are, and so you're double paying to educate your kids. Or you decide to homeschool, well, you got to take the expense of your time and your effort. You could be doing other things, but investing in your children, right? Ill after graduation. Well, I've been ill shortly after birth. Never gotten better. Being a little facetious, but there's something in the way I think. It's not the way other people think. So sometimes it might come across as a mental illness. That's just self-diagnosed. So I'm waving up some spilled coffee here. Well, what's the matter? Are you interested in that MCAT catalog or that study thing? Because there's really, I think, 2 people commented on the video that I posted about the giveaway. Oh, yeah, I have some like minor issues. Like, it seems to be nerve issues. Not debilitating so much, but I had when I was in school last, this was an attack, I think 2012 or 2013. I had on my left, I don't know if it's coming across as your right, I had it was called trigeminal neuralgia. So it was a trigeminal nerve. It's one of the cranial nerves. And the nerve center is actually situated behind your ear, and then it goes into your around your eye, and then into your lower jaw. So when you go for freezing, at the dentist, they're freezing that trigeminal nerve. And I had this flare up where it was the worst of the worst pain that you could imagine. And like, I don't know if it was a bad reaction to some dental work I had previously, but uh, there are like certain allergies that I seem to have that cause inflammation. And I don't know if it's specifically immune related. Some of it, I believe, goes back to a tetanus shot that I received back maybe around 2008, 2009. And there was a batch going around that people were reporting troubles with, and actually uh, ending up either on disability, or it was traced back to a particular batch of shots that were done. So do what you will. I mean, I kind of have been suffering low grade inflammation ever since that time. So I mean, how are you going to diagnose what's going on? I mean, that was almost 20 years ago. Your immune system is eating you alive. Yeah, Your body sees something doesn't to do. So I don't know. I imagine you've tried everything. There's going to be some videos of what I've done, or the health challenges I've faced and what I've done to mitigate or alleviate. Um, you say, allergies are almost for sure related to autoimmune. Yes and no. I took immunology, uh, and that's one mode of it. Without going into how your immune system works, it's a very finely tuned, well designed system, uh, and there's redundancies, and there's collaboration between different immune cells and how they work. But yeah, basically, uh, immune responses. Uh, your body is designed to see outside. You probably know this. If you've got autoimmune, like you've gone through this, so I'm not instructing you on anything you probably don't know, but people that might be watching this afterwards, right, when your body encounters an antigen or a foreign agent, it immediately wants to identify it and deal with it if it's going to cause trouble. But in some cases, your auto or your immune system can become ramped up to the point where it's looking at your own body cells and going and attacking them. So. Okay, I'm getting an error message from the YouTubes. I think the way the stream is rendering, it's having a hard time. We'll see what happens. We'll just keep chatting along here. Scleroderma, tried a lot. So that's basically what, hardening of your epidermis, or your exoskeleton. Oh, yeah, I gotta find that. So I'll be right back there, Wasamata. Lungs, systemic, yeah. So basically, whatever mucosal surfaces, they're having a hard time. Oh yeah, I had bouts of psoriasis that developed after that period around 2008. Once I was in university, it really flared up, and my hands would just get calloused and cracked and dry, and yeah, it was painful. Like thankfully I was not working with my hands through that period, from 2010 to 2014 while I was in school. I did what I could, but I mean, playing guitar or uh, working on stuff in the garage, working on vehicles, like just torture, because your skin would just get cracked, and you could see the blood vessels underneath, and it's not an open sore, but it's prone to infection. It would just get worse and worse and worse. And yeah, it sucks. So I was able to mitigate that with a little bit of UV therapy. That helped, and that was by prescription from my family physician. Referred me to a dermatologist who prescribed the UV therapy. It was very non-invasive. It seemed to be okay, but I mean, you're going to go however many times to a clinic. Like it's mitigating the problem, but it's not solving the problem. So it's a problem. Some of it is chemical, stress related. Yeah, it's the medical establishment is another one. You can't escape the way the system is set up, because we have only one option here in Canada, which is the government paid for system, the hospital system, the medical system. So I'm all about options. If you want to have a hybrid system where people, they're happy paying their taxes and doing that, you could set it up as a user pay system. Otherwise, people that want to take their health into their own hands, they can explore the clinics that they want. They can go get MRIs, pay cash for them. But it's a struggle up here. Everything is done through the provincial healthcare systems in each province, and there's some federal funding there that comes into to each province, as long as the provinces are doing what the federal government wants them to do. But there's no option. Like it's a government monopoly on healthcare, education, with very few options. So a hybrid system where you have choices, you can opt out, opt in. An emergency room is a great solution for, if you nick yourself and you're going to bleed out and you need to stop that, or your leg is broken and needs to be reset, compound fracture or what have you. Like that system has its place. For emergency medicine, it's probably nothing better that you could do. How's my volume, by the way? I've got a little volume meter here, but I can't tell if this is doing the job or not. I can't tell anything here. Well, yeah, for someone like you, YouTube is a great place to find community. If you're not able to work, there's lots of interesting people out here. I've seen you in various sites and chat rooms, so we're hanging out with all the same cool people, and I think it's getting back to YouTube opening the door to creators like this. I see it as a strategy to kind of overwhelm the AI, overwhelm the system, to kind of hack the system without actually doing any hacking, just by getting so much content out there and seeding it with content that's going to stimulate people to start using the gray matter between their ears. Okay, good to know about the volume. Emergency medicine, except price. Yeah, I mean the saying up here is, well, we've got free healthcare. There's nothing free in life. Our taxes are not impossibly high, but like if you can't find ways to reduce your tax load, uh, you're paying at the top upper tax brackets. You're paying a lot of your gold just to exist here. I've usually hovered around the lowest of the low tax brackets just to reduce the tax burden, and then find ways to use the tax code to my advantage to pay as little as possible. But yeah, we all got to figure out our way in life, and in some cases, the government actually does provide value. If it's do or die, live or die kind of thing. But you got to calculate it. Is it worth the cost? And so yeah, you've got your insurance system. Our insurer here is the government. So I'm in Manitoba. With car insurance, we have one insurer, and it's the provincial standard insurance for everybody. There's no options. It's a government monopoly on registering your vehicle, licensing drivers, insuring liability, so we don't sue each other here. It's all settled by the mediator, which is the government. It's streamlined, but people have their nightmare stories of dealing with that government insurers. I'm all about options. Free choice. The ability to contract. Yeah, freedom of association or freedom to not associate. But when you're forced to do business because it's the only racket in town, well, what options do you have? That's no option. So yeah, government monopoly, and not thrilled about. And I mean, maybe we'll come up with options and solutions as to a more equitable system. For now, we have to manage what we've got. No health coverage, lost everything. Cash on the street. And then, yeah, up in the air because the system can't really help you pinpoint the problem, because, despite all the research, and this is kind of what gets me. This was the dirty secret of science, is when I was going to school. I knew this before, but it's like there's so much technology out there, and the research is just mind-blowing. And people think, oh yeah, we've learned all we need to know. It's like we don't know nothing about nothing. I mean, biology is still such an unknown realm of study and knowledge and inquiry there. I could give you example after example, but I've had maladies, different, not illnesses, but conditions that my family physician is unable to help me with. He basically shrugged his shoulders and said, I don't know. Have you tried this? So, have I tried it? Like, I came to you for solutions. You're kind of asking me what I know. I gave you my symptoms, and I was hoping you'd give me a diagnosis and we can go about treating this. But I guess I got to take matters into my own hands, and that's what I learned to do many, many years ago. So, I'm sure you're in the same boat, and that's a frustration. There's something wrong, but it's almost like the experts don't want to believe you, or it's very inhumane, especially when you're in a situation where you can't exercise all the options you'd like, even if you could pay for them, but some of those options are forbidden. There's all kinds of treatments or solutions that the medical science just the medical establishment won't allow. Certain ideas are verboten. And so yeah, this is the Thought Crime channel. We'll see what we get away with here on YouTube as far as making controversial statements. But the idea is not to get banned, but through the last decade or so, I've seen lots of content on YouTube on things that you would think might get people's attention, and it's broadcast, it's published. There's no issue with it. But the moment you talk about masks or vaccines, well, suddenly, that's you're canceled. There's no debate, and I found that fascinating. And I speak somewhat freely about it now because we don't have that same kind of pressure that we did a few years ago. But it's almost yeah. What do we do with our thought crimes and our fellow thought criminals? Like what is the option for us? Well, as I said, I think there's a window of opportunity right now for YouTubers to get on this platform and start seeding the internet with their own thoughts and opinions. Get some discussion going, wake some people up. And I think Gen X is kind of the people that can get it done. The boomers, I mean, they're not going to embrace this technology. There's some that have been on the cutting edge and are using this, and they're doing great. But that generation is in decline. And it's not to say they should have done more or need to do more, but the millennials, they're kind of polluted with bad ideologies that they were brought up with from a very early age. But Gen X, we've lived through this cultural technological revolution, and so we were brought up without computers. We were brought up drinking water out of the garden hose, and not being told what to think and what to do. Like we basically raised ourselves, and now we're kind of in a position where we have either the time or the money to not worry about career and family, and we can do this as either as a hobby or there's an opportunity to make money at this, and so it's like let's hit this hard. Got excited at the beginning of the scamdemic because I tried to promote patents. I don't know how you did that, or promote the patent. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of remember seeing that comment. I don't know. For me, it was I like to dig for the truth, and just on the surface, you could see like, everything we were being told just didn't pass the sniff test. But it didn't matter. Canceled. Yeah. And so it seemed like I was getting kind of blackpilled. It's like there's no hope. They're taking people in that freedom protest, the freedom convoy, and jailing them without cause, freezing their bank accounts. This is going on here. It was just doom and gloom. But it was a very stressful period. But all good things must come to an end, I guess. And things have simmered down, and the people that were banned off of X, Twitter, and YouTube, and they're all filtering, finding their way back. And it's kind of a new season. And so, as I said, I think there's this window of opportunity where if we pounce, we can get a lot of traction right now. I'm kind of excited. It takes a lot to get me excited. This is still a hobby. I don't see me monetizing this channel now. I'd rather not. I have backup channels that, maybe we can switch to a different, not possibly different format. I don't see a lot of live streaming going on this. As I said, just doing this mainly to get a handle on the operation of the technology. I'll have to do another live stream once I get a proper setup. I'm not going to be live streaming with this webcam, this built-in webcam like this. I'd feel ashamed doing FaceTime with this thing. So sorry about the poor quality if you're just tuning in. This is not what I had intended, but it was a hectic week. I was fiddling around with this on Friday just to see that everything would start up, that my computer was actually capable of doing a web stream. So the laptop can handle it, but I got to figure out the camera situation, like how to share screen. Like I can share screen, but the operating system on this computer doesn't like when I try to show anything here. So I'm not really going to bother with that. But it is what it is. Glad you're here. It's nice to chat with people on a Sunday morning. What else are you going to do? Go to church? A guy I knew got patents early on. If you're a scientist, spreading the truth. Well, that wasn't allowed back then. Sharing your stuff and got canceled virtually. Well, you're here, so I mean, whether it's through soccer accounts, like I'm just learning how to use the internet now, because I wasn't interested. I moved out to this farmstead 8 years ago now, and it's been a lot of work to get it where I want it to be. And now that I got where I want it to be, I'm pretty much going to be putting it up for sale. So I won't even really enjoy what's going on, but it's a nice place. It's a nice home, but it's not what we need to be doing right now. So, but yeah, just learning, how to engage the interwebs in a meaningful way, because the purpose of this is not just a vanity project to vent my opinions and let off steam. I am interested in changing the status quo or destroying it. Like, cultural change we're ripe for that. The pendulum has swung all the way in one direction, and inevitably it's going to swing in the back towards the other end. So I don't mind riding that wave, but I kind of want to show people how to avoid that pendulum swing altogether and work outside of that system. So that's done in community, and I see all over different YouTube channels. There's great communities being built, and in the area I'm at, there's people around here I can work with, but I've just never been able to create that community that I think is vital. And I hear lots of people, and this was the big thing through COVID as well. Any Sasquatch. We have Mennonites in this area, and I think they scared them all away. So I would say no. But I'm not speaking from knowledge. I'm speaking from ignorance. I've not seen it. So I can't make a definitive determination. I don't think Manitoba, like this is a subject I loved as a child, the Sasquatch sighting. It's more in the Pacific Northwest or the Pacific, British Columbia. But who knows? Actually, yeah, to the east of us, when you get in Ontario, you're really into the Canadian Shield, the boreal forest. There's a little town I was hauling wood chips in or through called Vermillion Bay. and you know how different towns, they've got their different statues. I remember there's a town in Minnesota, their town emblem or mascot was like a prairie chicken or something. And, you know, you've got the St. Louis archway. There's, you know, and little towns all across here have different symbols. One town is a big pumpkin, and for Vermillion Bay, Ontario, their town statue is a big black Sasquatch, just and coming at you to attack you, like ah. Actually, if I were to do blackface, I think I'd have that statue perfect. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I could dig up a web image and use that as the thumbnail for this live stream. Vermillion Bay, Ontario. So those legends persist, and I find that fascinating. That lore, that folklore, the legends, the stories, like, is that just people's imaginations, or did they see something? I can't pass judgment. It is a subject of curiosity, though. But yeah, Manitoba. We have sought, well, again, if we do, they're staying away from me. Ohio is #1. Did not know that. I spent lots of time in Ohio. We used to drive truck. Never seen any in Ohio. I've never seen a Sasquatch. I've just heard about them, read about them, and seen History Channel documentaries about them. That's it. I haven't done a lot of Sasquatch research as of late. If I do come across one, you'll be the first to know, and I'll let them know that you're looking for them. Well, proof. I mean, I don't need proof. I can believe it. I'm just saying I haven't seen it with my own eyes. So I do like experiencing. Like, I don't need convincing necessarily. I mean, I've got faith in God, and so, like, I can't reach up and get a bottle full of God. And there's my proof. Like, it's by faith. And you believe it. So again, we're not going to turn this into a theological study of it or a Bible study of any kind. But yeah, some things you just know. It's you have a knowing in your heart that there's something real going on. So Sasquatch may very well be one of them. But yeah, very interesting discussion. Didn't think it was going to be going in this direction today, but hey, you've got the floor. So there's nothing else that is of any pressing importance here. But yeah, I think the Gen Xers, if we kind of shake ourselves off and have a look around and realize, you know, this is bullshit. We got to do something about this. I think now's a damn good time. I mean, I like the trend as of late. It's the Gen Xers that are kind of doing this. We're taking the language back. We're taking our words back. And prior to starting this channel, this was kind of one of my things. Like, we're getting the word gay back. We're taking retard back. And you better believe we're going to be calling lots of people fags on the internet pretty soon. Like, those are the words I grew up with. It's junior high school, schoolyard talk, and you had no right to take those words away from us. That's what we know, and we're taking them back. And if you're watching this and you don't like that kind of language, well, no apologies. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're here. I mean, you clicked on this video. You're already on a list as a thought criminal, so I mean, it's too late now to unclick it. So whatever. but yeah, this campaign to take words hostage and to take our language hostage, like, no, you're actually taking away our very identity, the very essence of who we are as Gen Xers. You're not allowed to tell us we can't use the word gay however we like. That's gay. It's not a slur against homosexuals or sexual preferences or anything. It's the same as being called a goof. Or, are you going to ban the word goof now? I mean, yeah, it has nothing to do with being offended, and more about letting a person know that they're being a dipstick. So whatever. I think that's a great trend, and that was kind of in late 2024. Is like, I got to get on the YouTubes and start talking the way people need to talk, and I don't even have to be a pioneer. It's already been happening for the last little while. Maybe it's been happening longer. I don't know. Maybe people are just sick and tired of the woke stuff. They're tired of the political correctness, and I'm not on the leading edge of the sword here. I'm on the trailing edge. I don't care. I just want to be in the game, and it looks like a lot of fun because we're the original troll generation. Like, you can't hurt our feelings by calling us names. You can't offend us. Well, we can make people cry. I've made people cry. And, it's a bit of a sinister laugh, but hey, put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants and either, lead, follow, or get out of the way. That's the new internet. That's the Gen X internet. So, media lying to us, which is why the subject ties in with police. Yeah, like it's. Someone commented early on, before I even started doing these sit-down videos, just an introductory videos, like, oh, government accountability and that kind of. I'm in. Like there's a real hunger for this type of content, or for this dialogue to happen. And if they're not letting us do it in town council and city hall meetings or in the courtrooms, like, we're going to take it to the court of public opinion and let the chips fall where they may. What can you say? We're not playing fair? Like, no, you've tried gagging us for years. You've told us we were wrong. You've been disenfranchised, disillusioned, disappointed. But that doesn't matter. We come back. We bounce back even stronger. We pull ourselves up time and time again. We're going to go down fighting. That's just the way we were brought up. And so, yeah, I think it's an exciting time. I think I'm going to make this draw official here. Are you interested in this at all? I could put your name in the draw. I don't know if you're officially, if you don't know what this is my MCAT study guide. When I was trying to get into med school, there's the MCAT test, and the test covers 4 different areas. So they mixed chemistry and organic chemistry together, but there's 2 separate books for chemistry and organic. And it's basically entry-level university courses. So there's the chemistry, the physics, again, entry-level stuff. There's no calculus involved. It's just standard knowledge. There was a biology block that you're tested on, and then the verbal reasoning, which I did a whole video on that. If you want this just as a way to sharpen your brains, There's no content about Sasquatch in there whatsoever. Oh, Sassy's here. Good morning, Sassy. How are you doing? What's the matter? You and I, we're having a very fun discussion here. We were just talking about that MCAT study guide that I was going to draw for. I'm good, thanks. I'm doing well. It was an exciting week. It was a fun week. It was a hectic week in a good way. And so I didn't actually have a chance to do much in YouTube world. Yes, yes. Say your hellos. Welcome in, welcome in. What's the matter? Sassy, Sassy, what's the matter? And so yeah, I was kind of doing some other business and stuff around the farm here. And, 2 or 3 trips in the last week to the big shitty, an hour away from me, my hometown, Winnipeg. And so yeah, a little bit more time on the highway than I usually do in any given week. And then just stuff that's come up here. It's been really up and down with the weather. One day it's like 53 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it dips down back to 20, and just bouncing up and down. So I got melt, freeze, and then water is starting to pool up around here. I want to start pumping it out of the yard and into the bush so I can get things dried up and hopefully get a head start on gardening and stuff. Yeah, the mud is incredible here. It gets really bad. And, so yeah, in the fall time, I was improving some of my drainage around my yard site, digging some trenches and grading and getting a slope so that the water goes where I want it to instead of just pooling up everywhere. I think we'll find out very soon whether I did any kind of good job there. You took MCAT, okay. All right. Yeah, sort of French drains. I mean, it's. I'm not an experienced machine operator. I've got a 75 horsepower Massey Ferguson tractor with a bucket on, so it's not ideal for grading, but it gets the job done. I'm mostly just scraping the topsoil away in certain areas and getting the water to flow away from the driveway, away from some of the yard spaces, away from the animal shelters. And then there is some drainage ditches that have been dug prior to me moving in that kind of move the water right off the property. But yeah, the previous owner, they had lots of problems with water pooling up. And year by year, I've just improved it bit by bit. But conditions change. It's always a problem-solving process around here. All right, we got a couple more. Mike's late to the party, just woke up. Well, you know what, Mike? You didn't miss anything. We're just hanging out, drinking coffee, chatting. Welcome in, welcome in. I had asked what's the matter earlier because I'm curious. I'm just doing this live stream to get a handle on the technology. As you can see, I'm broadcasting in Potato Vision. It's just my built-in cam on my laptop, the webcam on my old 2011 MacBook Air that's running a version of Mac OS that's probably 6 or 7 generations old. It's not supported by hardly any websites anymore or platforms. And I was trying to hook up an iPhone as a camera, but I can't get the camera mirroring anything going. in any case, I was curious, like just as a, like how are you folks watching? Are you watching on a phone? Are you watching on a computer, desktop, laptop? Not that it's necessarily going to affect how I do stuff. I think primarily I'm going to be making videos in horizontal, and we'll see about web phone or web streams, live streams. I've got backup channels that I might do more streaming on. I don't really have a lot of content that I need to share like weekly or regularly. I think I can accomplish that during, not during, but in the manner I have been up to now, which is just posting videos and letting people respond. The idea is not to go viral or have a big following. It is to promote community. I want to see a community built up. And, you know, I recognize Sassy from other channels we both watch. Mike, I don't. Mike. Oh, Mike Kane. Okay, yeah. You were. Did you come over from the Andy Edwards crowd, or how did you hear about this? We've had conversations a week or two ago. And you got better lighting? Okay. Yeah, I decided to kind of move on the couch. Normally I sit on a table right beside the window. Uh, I got both windows open, but there's not a lot of places in this house. Like there's windows all over the house, and if I face a window, you get this awful glare. Spontaneous chats. You like spontaneous chats, just hanging out and chatting? Yeah, that's good. Like this is a great format for doing that. Uh, Great minds think alike. Well, you've got the greatest of the great right here, so can't argue with that. Oh man, yeah, this thing is it's a fossil. 2011 MacBook. Yeah, I mean, if there's people that just want to hang out Sunday morning instead of going to church, you know, that's fine. You can figure out, you know, one day y'all come over to my couch, and then next week we visit at Sassy's place, and then Mike can sit and have a coffee at Mike's kitchen table or whatever. But I'm fine with hosting stuff, but it's not like I necessarily have a topic at hand. I kind of had alluded to that there was going to be a topic to cover as a standalone, but before Mike and Sassy came in, what's the matter? You and I were talking just about using YouTube as the vehicle to start stirring up some shit on the internet. And I think Sassy and I think Mike, you've kind of given away your age. We're all the same kind of age group, the Gen Xers, and so I'm a late adopter to using the internet as a platform like this to interact with people. I've mostly been using it incognito. I was always afraid of privacy issues in the past, but that's out the window. Like VPNs don't work, end-to-end encryption doesn't work. Like during the scamdemic, everyone went to Telegram because that was, you know, the secure that's all a psyop. Like that's all out the window. So I canceled my Telegram. I removed the app from my phone just this week because I was just getting spam. And so I do have a video yet to do about like why YouTube, why I chose YouTube. I guess we can talk about that right now. It's kind of an interesting thing. YouTube kind of represents my experience getting content on the internet. I don't watch TV. I don't have Netflix. I didn't grow up with cable, HBO, and stuff like that. We had your basic cable package, so we had the MTV and all those channels that were above and beyond your basic offerings from the networks. But once I discovered kind of this world on YouTube with all this content, and now all these independent content creators, independent media, I think that's kind of the key. Is there's a window of opportunity right now to get your message out there. And I said I see you guys on different channels in the chat rooms and comments. It's like if you find yourself commenting on all these videos, it's like you're probably primed to start your own channel and start getting your voice out there. And YouTube is a great place to do that. Like Facebook, we've all had Facebook, but that is just, it's so toxic. You know, likewise with Twitter. I remember being on Twitter for about 10 minutes, maybe 10 years ago, and I couldn't stand it. Like, it was awful. I do now have an X account. It's under the same name, and I just kind of repost stuff that I find interesting, but I'm not on there commenting on what other people are posting and streaming. It's mostly if I see a great video that needs to be shared on YouTube, I'll repost it to my Twitter, or if somebody sends me something, but I'm not putting memes and stuff up there. Mike, the engineer, yes, I remember. Okay, yes, right. You were talking about that the car video. Yes, okay. Lucky enough to work from home, and you're in the States as well, right, Mike? I vaguely remember you sharing. You don't have to give your location, but I think you were in the States. And as you know, I'm in the 51st state up here. California, right. Okay, I thought it was. And yeah, like Twitter is to this day, like, it hasn't changed. Like, people are thinking in gotchas and snappy comebacks, and that's all fine, but you could do that here. Like, I mean, Sassy has seen me on Lane's channel. Like, when the bullies show up, we just, give them a taste of their own medicine. Like, and you could do it with 3 words, And the Gen Xers are kind of the crew to get it done. So it's like YouTube is kind of a fertile ground for ideas like this to start to take root and grow. So it's kind of my encouragement is just start doing something on YouTube. Start doing more if you have the time, because like, I'm 53 and I don't have a lot of responsibilities other than what I'm doing here. I'm working from home, and this is a hobby in my spare time. It's not I'm not a YouTuber by trade, or it's not my income stream. I'm not relying on income from Google. I'm not getting sponsors. That's not why this channel was started. It's to stimulate some conversation and change people's perceptions and change their minds. And I think the fascinating thing too, like, I'm not there yet, but it's like the ability to host panels where, instead of engaging with the chats, which this is great, but we could have like you remember that movie? I was just thinking about this morning. That Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from 1986, or I forget, the Total Recall. And they had the big screen on the wall, and they were talking, video conferencing with each other. It's like, yeah, we're doing that, or we have the capability to do that. Mission accomplished. Okay, I don't know what that's in reference to, but yes, let's I didn't watch that episode, but I remember that show. Or I remember seeing that show on television. So no, I didn't watch that episode. I will go back, and that's not the kind of stuff I'm typically interested in, like television drama. I'm sure it's great. It's just between what I'm doing here and the stuff that's really got my attention on YouTube, and some of it is, you know, uh, crazy wild. Last month or two, or like it just gets crazier and crazier in a good way. And so yeah, maybe if I watch it at 2.5 times speed, I'll see if I can get through it quick. I mean, that's my other trick when I'm watching stuff, even a long live stream, like a 4-hour live stream. I'll watch it in 2 times speed and just like I don't have to listen. I don't have to follow in the chat. It's almost sometimes more relaxing not being in the live chat because you're trying to focus on what the video is about, the presenter, and then you're chatting with the chatters, and then like there's too much stuff going on, and yeah, you can multitask, but it gets overwhelming sometimes. And sometimes if there's a live stream, I'll just go to sleep, watch it the next morning in 2 times speed, and much more relaxing. Crazy full show. Huge fan of Lane. Well, who isn't? I don't know if Mike's been around. Okay, the California crew taking over the chat here. Yeah, check out Lane Myers, Mike. It just gets more bizarre all the time. And there's stuff pending, so I don't want to talk about it too much. It's so much fun. And but yeah, like YouTube, I think you can build that community that you can't find on Facebook, because like, yeah, I was on Facebook for a couple years back around 20. No, actually, no, it was a good long time. It was like from 2008 to 2014. But it's like people were just reposting neat stuff they found and arguing, and it was just garbage. Like I couldn't. It was so stressful on Facebook. I use it for Marketplace now. I'm able to move various items using that. So I use it as a tool, but I do not engage on Facebook. Twitter is just a toxic cesspool that, the people that are on there, they're on there all day, and that's all they do. I guess YouTube can be the same, but it's like there's actually a true sense of community. What's the matter? Whether you're on Chili's channel or Michael Eline's or this channel or that channel, like, there's similar. You find your tribe, and I guess that's a legitimate way to go about it. If you can't do in person, this online manner of engaging is a legitimate means of doing that. Like there's actual legit relationships that are formed, and you may never actually meet physically or stand on the same ground, but it's powerful nonetheless. Chat is a chat. It's good. I like that. Blocking. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that too. I think Wasa was here when I was talking about taking back the language. I was going to do a whole video just on this, but I ran out of time. My plan was to fool around with this yesterday, see what I could get accomplished as far as the technology, and then shoot a video just saying, you know what, here, like, there's not going to be any moderators on this channel. I'm going to be the moderator. I don't want to block people, but if they have to get timed out. But it's like, I want the bullies. I want the haters to show up. And Sassy knows, what's the matter, you knows, like, when the bullies come, you have permission to bully them and things to different people. But trolling injects an element of truth and humor in it, but coming from a good place. And so trolls are welcome. Like I was saying to What's the Matter earlier, we're, as Gen Z, we're the OG trolls, because we have no feelings. We're emotionless. You can't upset us by calling us names. You can't offend us, because we've been through it all. We've raised ourselves with basically no guidance from our parents or the world. I am being a bit facetious there, exaggerating somewhat, but it's like you're not gonna get us easily, and so we're gonna come at you hard. And it's like we were built for this, and it's like our time to rise. And so blocking and all that stuff, I'd love to see, like, just the chat take care of the chat. And if I see goofiness, well, and this is kind of like an ongoing, my policy, my take on this. Nobody here is obviously in needing of blocking. Gen X, oh, did I say Gen Z? Yeah, Gen Z has got some potential. I don't think anybody from Gen Z is going to be watching my channel ever. Like, I think it's going to be the eldest of the millennials and some Gen Xers and maybe some boomers that have time on their hands. But I don't anticipate a lot of younger people tuning into this kind of content. I've done some, the shorts, YouTube shorts. They get lots of views, but it doesn't translate into any engagement. I don't know if I don't expect any of you have found this video through shorts. They'll get like 500 views overnight, and then that's it. Like, they're done. They peak out at 520 views, and then nobody watches them. So I don't see YouTube Shorts as a great way to get my message across. There'll be some YouTube Shorts. I started doing them because they're easy, and I learned how to hold an iPhone so that it's capturing, doing the cinematography, getting in front of the camera, getting comfortable using the technology. But YouTube Shorts are kind of aligning with some streams. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of going to be a topic of discussion for another day. Is like, we need to cut through a lot of this bickering and infighting. Like, it's pretty wild and kind of inexplicable. Actually, no, there is an explanation, but I don't want to go into it right now. But you can tell by the dialogue which Jen is channeling. Yeah, well, it's sort of, it's not that I've given up on the millennials or Gen Z. It's just they're not talking the same language necessarily. Like some of the oldest millennials, they're kind of similar in that they grew up without an iPhone in their hands from birth. They kind of remember the before times when everything wasn't online. They were born like in the 90s to early 2000s. Well, I guess those would be the years. And Gen Alpha is, I guess, the latest iteration of humanity. So some of the millennials, they remember, vaguely, not having to be politically correct and the wokeness. But, if there's a opportunity to reach across generations, I'm all for it, but that's kind of not the expectation. I kind of understand who my crowd is that I'm reaching out to, and that's where the community is going to be. So that makes sense to you. But I was talking with What's the Matter You about the idea of taking the language back. And you know, there's words, you know, when I was in grade 7, 8, 9, you were learning, they were great. And so, you know, I started this YouTube channel in the back of my mind thinking, we're taking the language back. And it's starting to happen. Like the trend is already happening. You know, I kind of started my channel and that momentum is already there. But the words gay, retard, and fag, we're going to start using that until, you know, everybody on the internet is crying. And just to note that too, I tend not to swear. I mean, I can use the word fuck, but it's lost all meaning. Because everybody, a normal conversation, like when there's two people talking, you're not going to use that pause and the all the time. Like that's not how we talk conversationally. But when you're making a public presentation and you're thinking about what you want to say, you need that pause, and that's why they called it seal talk. And so when public speaking, you know, that's not desirable. And the F bomb or F this, F that, F you, like it's just lost all meaning, and it's almost the same as that mental break, that mental pause, and saying, and so I tend not to swear. It's kind of a lazy conversational, or it's a lazy word. You use that word when you can't come up with a better way to say something. Alice Cooper, oh, that was so good. That was like cathartic for me. So that's not exactly why I started this channel, but I was looking forward to that video because I had so much to. I could have gone on for 3 hours about that. There's still more to say. Yes, thank you, Mike. And I hope you've been enjoying. I've been peppering in some, or salting in some little Easter eggs there on some of those videos with little clips of Alice here and there. So there'll be more of those. There's going to be more music content in the month of March. So like I say, there's a few things I want to talk about, but just the timing isn't right. So I'm just going to let things play out first. I control Kevin, writer. Yeah, like use your language to defeat, you know, bad behavior or bad ideas. You know, the answer to bad speech is better speech, right? I don't know. Sorry, I either need new prescription or whatever. I can barely see the chat box. My advice to y'all: don't get old. It sucks. Well, the SCTV stuff. Well, of course, it's great. That goes without saying, Mike. Yeah, Sassy. The music videos, like it was like this breakthrough watching Andy Edwards from the UK, just seeing how he talks about something he loves, and just the explosion of engagement from the audience was amazing. And so that was so transformative in my thinking that yeah, this is doable, because he's kind of switched to dark mode. I'm in dark mode. I don't know what do you mean? How do I do that? I mean, I'm wearing black tracksuit. No yoga pants in this web stream. My computer settings. Well, my browser settings are in dark. I don't know what you're seeing on your end. My YouTube is in dark mode for me. Oh, I am in dark. It's just my eyes are garbage. Trade them in. Yeah, I can't view hardly anything unless it's in dark mode. Okay, I get what you're saying now. I thought you wanted me to switch to dark so you could see better. But no, this is the best I can do. So without getting like right up in your face here, but it's a Windows laptop. I haven't used a Windows operating system in probably 10 years. I've been using the Mac operating system, so I haven't had time to play with it. It's got Windows 11. I should be able to sync some cameras. There is a camera, a web camera, a better one around here. So once I get some of my tech devices and the technology worked out, the web streams will be a little better experience because this built-in webcam, like, it's embarrassing. My internet connection seems to be good. I upgraded. We had a landline, basically, the phone. I forget what that connection is called. We don't have fiber optic at my location yet, although they've been installing that all around my municipality. It's not available to me yet, but I did switch from 5 megabit or megabits per second to 100. So I don't know if it's 100 guaranteed or 100 nominal. I don't know, but it's much better. So I can actually have the capacity to stream where before, there's 3 people in the house here. We're all using the internet. Like, thing just didn't want to move, didn't want to load a web page or nothing. But otherwise, yeah, I gotta figure out a way to sync my iPhones, use them as cameras, or get a proper webcam and go from there. It's just all my files. I could do file sharing, but when I do it on this laptop, the old operating system gets very angry at me and lets me know it. So I don't want to piss it off more than I have to. And just streaming like this is almost the limit of what it's going to tolerate. Verizon, we don't have Verizon, so I've got a satellite hookup. I think Starlink might be available to us, but this is going to be adequate, and I'm not too worried about it for what I plan to do with this YouTube channel. I've got the upload speed I need. It's just getting my shit together with all the devices and figuring out how to tie them all in together so that it's a better viewing experience for everybody. And then, it's kind of exciting to think we could have like panels where we're all meeting together, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. I mean, I love that mind thriller kind of sci-fi where twists and turns in the plots, and this guy's a double agent, and there's a double cross that you weren't expecting. It goes back to that time travel. I don't know if you saw my time travel. I'm thinking back to a film, 1986. I saw that film in the theater, talking about the future, and here we are in the present discussing it. So kind of neat how that works. Over there. You got a good mic. Well, it's built-in mic. Yep. Just trying to stay on top of your comments. kind of good to have just a few participants this time around. So I wasn't expecting a big crowd or anything viral. This is, again, just a test run. So I think this worked out great. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Baby steps. Yeah, cat study guide. I told Mike he's in the running. I think he said he'd rather have the box of cookies, though. Yeah, either clarify. That went over my head. So between Mike and there was another fella on that video I'd like to enter in. What's the matter? You says he's familiar with the MCAT. Sassy, are you interested in this study set for the MCAT? Do you know about that? We can have a legit draw. I don't want to be accused of scamming my audience. I guess we'd have to figure out who's willing to pay for shipping on that. Okay, so Sassy's in. So Mike, you're in. My grandson is headed to high school. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, if he's ever going to get into medical kind of work, he might encounter that MCAT someday. And so it's an older edition, but I mean, physics hasn't changed, chemistry hasn't changed, or at least what they're testing on hasn't changed. A granddaughter. Okay. Yeah, excellent. Oh, show you. So there's 3 officially in the running. So just I forget the other guy's name, but I just called him YouTube viewer. I guess if he wins, we're gonna have to find a way to call him. But Sassy in there. So I'm just crumpling up the tickets. We're not gonna do a random. Well, congratulations on being a proud grandma. And we got Mike's entry. Wearing a hat. Another YouTube viewer. We're just calling him YouTube viewer. Here it is. Get the official draw. It's exciting. Blindfolded. And the winner is Brent Shimko, sock account number 22. What? How'd this get in here? Well, it's Sassy. There you go, girl. Enjoy, Sassy's granddaughter. I wish you a wonderful career in whatever it is you decide to do and how to properly use the internet. Because whatever you've been learning in school up to now has been completely incorrect. So yeah, Sassy, I guess drop me an email. There's my email on the, I guess the homepage. If you click about, beside my name, beside the troll dog there on my icon, where it says more, you should be able to look up my Google Mail. And yeah, I'll have to figure out what it's going to cost, and I'll let you know. But I'll need your shipping information and whatever. I'll just do it manually. I don't have any kind of web store set up. I don't think I will. I don't plan on selling merch. This draw was kind of just a not a gimmick, but a way to kind of raise some interest, see if things like this are people are going to respond to. So, and it's something that's just sitting on the shelf, and it's going to do somebody else better than it will me. So, I hope your family enjoys that. Believe me, going through the MCAT, I didn't enjoy it. Actually, it wasn't a bad experience. The trouble was, there's a lot of competition to get into medicine here. And the MCAT, there's a limited number of seats to actually take the test. And so the first year I took it, I had to travel 8 hours from Winnipeg to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And so my mom came with me because she wanted to be a part of the trip or whatever. She had some stops along the way. But yeah, I got home from school. We drove from Winnipeg to Saskatoon, arrived at like midnight, 11 o'clock at our destination, had a bite to eat, and then the next day, the test starts at 9 a.m. or whatever it is, and it's like all 4 subjects, one after another, and each section of the test, I forget if it was an hour long or an hour and 15, but it's like this grueling, like it's a torture test. It was a strain. So I did okay on that first test in Saskatoon, but it wasn't terribly competitive score. But the next time I did it in Winnipeg, I found a spot. But it's like I don't know what it's like in the States, whether it's that much of an ordeal. But into the place of best fit. And so if someone stands up and says, I want to be a doctor, well, they're going to do everything they can to dissuade you if you don't have the skills and the kind of what it takes to be a doctor. Like they're going to weed you out, whether it's through the MCAT process or your grade point average or the interviews or whatever requirements they have. Like for the medical college here, a prerequisite is biochemistry, which is a very demanding course. And in order to get biochemistry, you have to take organic chemistry, which is a very demanding course. And in order to take organic chemistry, you have to take intro chemistry. So it's like you're going to be taking a science track, and all along, like it's dipped out from your ambitions to be a doctor in the first year. Like this ain't worth it. Like if I can't handle intro chem, I'm not gonna make it through organic, let alone biochem. So it's like the whole process is to weed people out, and maybe that's the best way to do it. When I sat down with the admissions guy at our college, he said, yeah, there's lots of people that should be here that the algorithm or the manner in which we select just eliminates people, and unfortunately you're a victim of the way the system works. And so it's like, okay, I don't expect you to change the rules for me, but it is what it is. So, but that's kind of our whole system is you're being weeded out and kind of herded into the direction somebody else wants you to go. So, for one, I like blazing my own trail and just doing what I need to do. And that's pretty much what I do. I kind of am at the point where I don't do anything I don't want to do. It's whether it's out of stubbornness or old man crotchetiness, or like it's just, yeah. I'm glad that's gonna provide some value for you and yours there, Sassy. That's really cool. University Davis, STEM. It's in your hometown. Well, you gotta look. Well, I mean, I was lucky to get it in Saskatoon. I might have had to go to Calgary I know people that were flying to Toronto to take it from Winnipeg. Like it's insane. But that's part of the weeding process, right? How bad do you want to be a doctor? Now I know one guy, he actually did become a doctor, and he kind of snuck in the back door, but that's another story for another time. But he was determined, and he wasn't going to be stopped. So I mean, I could have pressed the issue and maybe gone and tried to apply to different colleges with different entry requirements, but I am where I am now, and this is where I need to be. So I'm actually, we all saw what happened from 2020 and on, and especially here in Canada, physicians that weren't towing the line, I mean, they got their careers destroyed, and it came down to, we're the College of Physicians and Surgeons or the College of Nurses up here. I don't know if they have similar governing bodies down in the States, but it's kind of, if you want, it's sort of like the Bar Association. If you want to practice in this province, you got to be a member of one of these colleges, and they basically give you your walking orders. And there were people that were bristling at what was required, and those people got run through the ringer and are just now kind of getting some apologies. I don't know about retribution. I don't know about restoration, but it's like careers were potentially destroyed over having opinions. It's crazy. Civics tests. Yeah, I'm done with tests. Curious mind. Curious minds are good. Right on, right on. Yeah, indoctrinate them, Sassy. Indoctrinate them in the right way. And that's what this is about, is a new form of indoctrination. We're going to take this platform and we're not going to, our silence over all these years should not have been mistaken for consent or approval. So it's time to speak up. I encourage you all, do as you see fit. Yeah, whether it's just influencing your family or finding a wider audience on YouTube, having these chats around the kitchen table or wherever you may be, online, in person, it's all good. So I think there is a potential to do some cultural transformation, change our world, and have a better world. An hour and 41 minutes we've been. I know some of you came in late. I think it's we're going to wind this one down. Leave comments down below, whether you were a participant in the live chat or for whatever reason you came in late. If you want to do more of this, maybe we can pick one day a week that you want to do this. I can schedule stuff. I figured I just wanted to come on, let people know and expect people to drop what they're doing and get involved. But I think having weekly discussions like this, and then as I can incorporate, bringing other participants in, once I figure out how to do that, that'll make it even more fun. So I think we'll wind it down. Just catch the last of the chats here. Thank you, What's the Matter You, for coming. Thank you, Sassy. Thank you, Mike. It has been a pleasure. I'll see about getting some more regular videos up this week. There's stuff I need to get out. Yeah, stuff pops in your head. You don't want your head to explode, so let it fall out on the floor. And if somebody picks it up and runs with it, that's good. Let that head pop, man. G-R-E, that was oh, okay. All right, well, have a good week, everybody. Like I say, leave comments. Your feedback is always appreciated. And we'll do this again soon. Or I'll give notice when we can do this again. But I had fun. I thought this was great. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.